Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel for another video. So in today's video it is going to be my 10 tips and tricks to be ready for the upcoming update that is coming in a week's time on Wednesday the 21st of August. So next Wednesday we are going to be getting update 12 in the base game, which is a free update where we know we will be getting Tiana from Princess and the Frog. We've already been shown a kind of developer update trailer where you would have seen what her character model looks like, what kind of star path items are coming, as well as her house and also her restaurant that is coming with her as well. And as well as this, on Wednesday the 21st we will also be getting our final third act for the DLC, A Rift in Time, where we will be kind of concluding the storyline of the DLC, wrapping it all up and getting Jafar at the end as probably our final character, we would assume, from the DLC, and kind of finishing off the Eternity Isle story. So to start off with, we are going to do the top 5 tips I have for getting ready for the base game. Now, with Tiana coming, we know she is not coming in a realm, so those of you who aren't sure if you're going to need Dreamlight, you will not need it for this update in terms of getting Tiana. Obviously, maybe needing the Dreamlight shards for a quest or something is always a possibility, but when it comes to actually getting her as a character, you will not need Dreamlight for this, as she is not in a realm door. So do not stress if you do not have a lot of Dreamlight, but the first thing I would give as a top tip is to make sure you have a good amount of star coins. Now, star coins are used for a lot of different things in the game. It's basically our main currency, and it can benefit you in the update in many ways. The first off will be the house upgrades and the building upgrades. So with Tiana, we know we are getting her house and we are also getting her restaurant. Now, both of these will take star coins to build, most likely. Pretty much every house we ever get with a character costs money to build, and then the restaurant, I'm assuming, is going to be probably on the same page. Might not be, but it is a possibility. So you'll definitely need star coins for her house. Usually house upgrades and building houses for new characters cost around 20,000 star coins. So if you don't have this amount, make sure you do some farming, sell some things, and get stocked up on star coins. You will also need star coins in order to shop at Scrooge's store. Now, with every update recently, especially this year, we have been getting a lot of items put into Scrooge's store that are brand new and are from the update. So for example, in the last update with Mulan, we got quite a lot of items from the realm and just Mulan themed items in general put into Scrooge's for us to purchase that just went in the general rotation like all the other furniture we have in the game. It's just chance that they'll show up in your shop. There's still items that a lot of people are missing from the Mulan update, so they will cycle through, but obviously they will cost star coins to purchase. Obviously, aside from that, star coins in general are just a great thing to be stocked up on. I always advise farming to get your star coins. If you have Forgotten Lands unlocked, pumpkin farming will be your best friend, and turning the pumpkins into vegetable platters with 3 pumpkins in your cooking machine or your oven will give you the best reward for what you're doing farming wise, and it can also help level up characters if they have the farming trait and everything good like that. So make sure you're stocking up on star coins before the update. Tip number 2 in the base game is to make sure you have a good amount of ingredients. Now, this will go hand in hand with the farming if you are doing that for star coins already, but having a good stock of all the different ingredients in game will be beneficial in this update, because obviously a lot of Tiana's character and kind of personality and storyline that will be coming to the game is centered around her love for cooking, and as we are getting her restaurant and her stall, we can already see that that is definitely being introduced in the game. We are going to be doing cooking and stuff like that with her most likely. So having a good selection of ingredients that we have in the game already will mean that when you get those quests to craft certain meals or cook certain things, you will have the ingredients ready to use. There's a lot of different ingredients in game. So for example, you can get all the different vegetable seeds from the stalls in and around the valley. You can also get fruit from bushes and trees that naturally spawn in the different biomes, and you can also get a selection of dairy and kind of like eggs and cheese and all of that in Remy's restaurant. So there is 6 items in there that you can also grab. I always recommend having a good like stack of each thing in your storage room or something like that to make sure you can always access it. Obviously there are fruits and vegetables and meats that come from the DLC in Eternity Isle, but I don't think you're going to need any of those at all for the base game, because obviously they are not linked. So do not stress if you don't have the DLC or a good stock of those, because the chances you'll need them is very, very slim. But the ones in the base game I would highly recommend having a good stock of. Tip number 3 on that same note of stocking up and everything is to make sure you've got a good stock of basic resources. Now, with characters coming, a lot of the time, a lot of their quests require you to craft certain items or to have a good stock of materials to give to the character. Pretty much every update we've had this year so far, and a lot of the ones we've had previously, we have had at least one quest with that character where you've had to give them a bunch of resources, or you've had to craft some furniture or something like that. So having a good stock of the basic resources will really help you with that. I'd always recommend things like stone, pebbles, soil, wood sticks, gems, things like that are just really basic things that you get in the game. Now, most people who do play the game a lot and have been playing a long time, you most likely will have a good stock of all of this stuff already, but if you don't, that is something definitely to work on. You can always go to Kristoff's stall in the Forest of Valor if you have it unlocked to grab things every single day from his stall. He always has like an unlimited amount of coal, so you can always get coal there, and then the rest of it rotates and you can get like 10 or so or 20 of each item that are in there that day, but it does reset every day like everything else in the game. Tip number 4 is one that's kind of difficult to do in hindsight, but I think most people would have prepared anyway, is to make sure you have enough moonstones for the upcoming star path, which we know is a 1920s themed star path. Now, every update we get a new star path, which is a timed event where you get a certain amount of days to complete the star path by doing certain challenges and things in game to unlock the currency that will unlock the different items in the star path. Now, obviously every update has a different one, and this time is a 1920s themed star path, which we've already seen the teasers for and it looks absolutely amazing. But this star path does cost moonstones. Now, moonstones are a premium currency in game, which you can only get through dream snaps or through purchases with real money. So if you are doing your dream snaps every week, I know most people kind of keep a good amount of moonstones back and save some ready for star pass, especially with an update coming. But I would suggest that any moonstones that you get on update day, maybe don't splash straight away into the premium shop. Keep the amount you need for the star path, and hopefully you would have saved enough. If you don't, do not stress, you can get the star path at any point during the update. So say for example it gets to Wednesday and you don't do as well on your dream snaps and you don't have enough, you can wait until the following week and add up your moonstones. It just means you'll have less time to complete it and you'll have to wait to get all those items, but you can do it whenever. It's not like you have to do it on update day, so do not stress. The final tip for the base game is just something that's more fun and enjoyable to do, which is to get ready for Tiana and make space for her in your valley. Now, most people's valleys, just like mine, are probably getting very, very full by now, and we don't have much space for new houses and new things. And with Tiana, we know we are getting a house and a restaurant, which for a lot of us is very stressful because we have no clue where we're going to end up putting this because there's just not much space left anymore. So getting prepared for this and making sure you've got a spot ready will just help you build up the excitement for the update, prepare yourself for update day so that when you do get Tiana, you can unlock her and get her house placed straight away, and you can then get her restaurant placed. Now, for the most part, I think it's very obvious that Tiana's house can be placed in both the Valley and also in Eternity Isle, so you could put it in whatever you choose, but I think it's most likely that her restaurant will be in the Valley only. I'd be very surprised if you can put it in Eternity Isle. We will have to see, I may be wrong, but I just feel like it would make sense to just be in the base game Valley, but I could be wrong, do not take my word for it, but just make sure you're getting a spot ready for her and building up the excitement of her arrival on Wednesday. Moving on to the DLC is my last 5 tips. So the first one is the biggest one, which is to make sure you have Mist stocked up. Now, Mist is the currency that is used in Eternity Isle that's basically the Eternity Isle version of Dreamlight. So you do different tasks daily and collect different rewards to get Mist, which is used in Eternity Isle to unlock certain areas, craft different machines and furniture, and also is just something that is used generally a lot in a lot of the different things to do with Eternity Isle itself. Now, in the developer showcase, they did tell us to be ready with some Mist, which makes me think it's very likely we are going to need to unlock certain areas or maybe use Mist to craft something or unlock something during the final act of the DLC. So I would recommend having at least like 40-50,000 Mist. This is not an accurate amount. I have no clue what you're going to need, but I would just say like 40,000, 50,000 is like a comfortable spot to be in Mist wise. Obviously, during the DLC and being in Eternity Isle in general, and also your main valley, you can collect mists whenever you want. A really good way to do it would be when Tiana comes in the base game, make her a time bender, and then as you're questing with her and doing stuff with her and doing things for the star path, you can collect mist as you go, which then means when you head over to do the DLC, you have kind of built up that mist stock that you need. But before that, I think it'd be a really good idea, if you do have any time benders in your valley, to just hang out with them for a few hours, collect as much mist as possible, and it will add up really, really quickly. Obviously, as I said, the amount that I suggest is not accurate, so please do not quote me on it. I would just say that is a comfortable spot to be sat in to make sure you can unlock areas that may be coming in Act 3 of the DLC, as well as potential new furniture which could be coming as well. Now, my tip number 7 is to make sure you are up to date with Act 2 of the DLC. Now, as the DLC came out in 3 parts, we had Act 1 in December, Act 2 earlier this year, and now we are getting the final act to conclude the whole storyline. You will need to make sure you are up to date with the storyline as it goes. Obviously, the last time we left off, spoiler alert if you haven't gone there, but we got Oswald and we unlocked that kind of bridge area in Ancient's Landing, and we ended up with the Rifts of Time in the sky. So that's where we've left off. So that is exactly where the story in Act 3 will continue on from. Most likely we will load up the game on Wednesday once it's updated, and it will give us like a new quest with a certain character that will just steamroll the storyline along. So if you haven't finished Act 2, then that won't come up for you yet. So if you are hoping to kind of get stuck into Act 3 and get the storyline finished off, then make sure you are up to date with Act 2. That does not include being up to date with the characters from Eternity Isle. So if you're not like level 10 with any of the 4 characters that we've had so far in the DLC, that won't count most likely. It will just be the actual storyline itself. So make sure you're up to date with that if you want to get stuck into the final act and the end of the storyline. Tip number 8 is to make sure you have unlocked the different areas in Eternity Isle if you are hoping to do Act 3. Now, obviously in Eternity Isle there are a lot of areas you have to unlock, and as most of us know by now, it takes a lot of mist to unlock those. So I think most people by now probably have grinded and unlocked it, because we've had a good amount of time to unlock everything, which is why I think it's very good that they've done it in 3 parts, because I think if they'd released the whole DLC at once, we would all have been crying thinking, how are we going to do this, because it's just so much at once. But I think we've all had a lot of time now to unlock the whole of Eternity Isle, grind that mist to be able to unlock everything. But obviously, as we know from the showcase, our storyline will be taking us up to Jafar's castle in the Glittering Dunes, and so we need to make sure we have both those top areas of the Wild Tangle and the Glittering Dunes unlocked, so that we can actually access the castle if that is where the storyline is taking us, which seems very, very likely. So if you haven't got those top sections unlocked yet, I would definitely suggest those if you want to get stuck into the storyline. As well as that, we do all have a lot of suspicions about a certain rock doorway in Ancient's Landing at the top. We've all been very suspicious of this ever since the DLC launched. We all just looked at it and were like, that looks a little bit suspicious and like somewhere you should be able to get through. So this is also a potential area you may want to unlock just in case. Now, this isn't as confirmed or kind of hinted at yet. It may just be a really strange looking wall of rocks. We don't know, but just in case, I would make sure you have those different areas unlocked and make sure you have enough mist to do so. Tip number 9 is just to make sure you are stocked up with DLC resources. Obviously, having resources in game are always really, really handy, but the ones from the DLC could really help out with this final act of the update. So making sure you have a good stock of everything will help you out a lot. I am still in the process of grinding resources from the DLC. There's a lot that I'm still missing, especially things like gems. I just find so hard to kind of get a hold of. They take a long time, they're quite difficult to get compared to the base game in my opinion, so making sure you have a good stock of those will help if we do end up with any quests in the storyline that require us to have any of these resources. So make sure you have those, as well as needing some of those time bending pieces if we do get new craftable furniture. The final tip number 10, is just to make sure you have unlocked Rapunzel, Gaston, Eve and Oswald, the 4 characters we've had so far in the DLC. Now, if you are up to date with the DLC DLC all the way through to Act 2, you will have unlocked all these characters. You may not have quested with them or got them to level 10 or anything yet, but you will have unlocked them because it is part of the storyline. So it kind of links back to that. As long as you have got all those characters unlocked, then you've most likely finished the Act 2 storyline, meaning you can now go on to Act 3. But having those characters unlocked and kind of placed in your valley and all of that good stuff will really, really help, just mean that you have less to do with them. And it seems like from the trailer they may play a big role in what is going on in Act 3. We're going to have to interact with them a lot, so having them unlocked and placed down will really, really help with that. So those are my 10 tips and tricks before the update drops. I just think these will help you out so much. My main things, I would say, my main thing from the base game would be to make sure you're stocked up on star coins and like ingredients and resources and stuff like that. This is always something I recommend before any update, but I think this update, as we are getting a restaurant and a house, we are definitely going to need those things stocked up to use. And for the DLC, my main tip would obviously be to make sure you have a lot of mist and that everything is unlocked, like all the areas of Eternity are unlocked, which again costs mist. So mist is the big thing you want to be working on before the update drops on Wednesday the 21st. I hope you guys enjoyed these 10 tips. If you have any other tips for the community or for me, let me know down below. My final thing I will say is make sure before the update drops, you back up your game save on whatever platform you are on. For me, I always make sure I create a cloud save as well as having like a backed up copy of my actual game files on PC, just for me, so I have the peace of mind that if for whatever reason something did go wrong, I have everything backed up and saved. But if you are on a console, obviously just doing your general saves will help you out so much, and obviously is always just a tip I recommend for any player in general. Let me know down below what you think of these tips and tricks. Are you excited for the update on Wednesday? I'm sure you probably are. I definitely am. I'm excited to be getting the final conclusion of the DLC to finish that off. It feels a little bit bittersweet because we've been with this DLC all the way since December, and we are now halfway through 2024 and we are finally finishing it off, and I'm very excited to see where it ends up. And it will be a little bit sad, I think, but it is definitely time, I think, to wrap it up and then prepare ourselves for potentially another DLC coming at the end of the year. As well as that, I'm obviously extremely excited to be getting Tiana and getting her restaurant and her house, as well as the 1920s themed star path, and to see what comes in the premium shop. There's going to be so much fun and excitement on Wednesday with this update. I will be live streaming it here on my YouTube channel on Wednesday, so if you do want to come and hang out and experience the update with me, I will be live streaming it, so I'd love to see some of you there. Make sure you have a lovely week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!